Hello everyone and welcome to GeoLens. The Industrial Revolution wasn't just about technological advancement. It was about control. It might seem absurd from our modern perspective, but people weren't as inclined to work excessively in the late 18th century. There was no pride in working more hours. It was such an alien concept that people weren't even opposed or in favor of it. It wasn't even within their horizon of expectations. The historian Edward Palmer Thompson discusses the habits of English workers in his book, The Making of the English Working Class. He explores the customs, culture, and working patterns of the English working class in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Thompson notably describes how workers often chose to work fewer days. Workers often took time off once they had earned enough money to cover their immediate needs. One practice, known as St. Monday, was common among workers who extended their weekends by taking Mondays off, sometimes even extending it to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It reflects their autonomy and resistance to the strict industrial work time discipline. According to Thompson, workers viewed time control differently than today. The idea of removing control of time from the church was seen as utterly absurd. Transferring it to factory owners was considered a heresy, shunned by English workers. The sociologist Max Weber observed a similar phenomenon among German agricultural workers. During the 18th century harvest season, offering higher wages did not result in longer work hours or increased productivity. Instead, many workers would work just enough to meet their immediate needs, then stop. Imagine this scenario. You're an 18th century farmer and you're paid 10 pfennig per acre of grain you harvest. On a typical day, you harvest 2.5 acres, earning yourself a cool 25. Now your boss comes along and says, "Hey, I'm going to give you a raise. Instead of 10 biomass per acre, I'll pay you $12.50. Sounds great, doesn't it? You'd think this farmer would be motivated to harvest more and earn even more money. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of harvesting 3 acres and making $37.50, our farmer decides to only harvest 2 acres. Why? Because by doing so, they still earn their usual 25, which is enough to cover their basic needs. This behavior puzzled employers and economists. Our farmer isn't asking, how can I maximize my earnings? Instead, they're thinking, how little can I work to still meet my usual needs? Weber interpreted this behavior as a reflection of a pre-capitalist mentality. Work wasn't seen as an end in itself or a way to accumulate wealth. Rather, it was a means to secure a certain standard of living, a traditional way of living. Once workers achieved this, they preferred leisure over additional income. Before the Industrial Revolution, skilled craftsmen worked in small workshops, controlling their own production process. They would take as many days off as possible, work irregular hours, play music or drink while working, spend time with their families while working. There wasn't a clear division between work and life. This level of autonomy posed a problem for factory owners who sought greater control over production and over workers' time. Their solution was ingenious. Make the machines bigger, much bigger. Okay, not that big. Early Industrial Revolution machinery wasn't designed solely for efficiency. It was purposefully made larger to make it impossible to use in small workshops. This strategic move forced workers to leave their autonomous spaces and gather in large industrial sheds, the factories. By concentrating workers in these new environments, factory owners could impose strict time discipline, social division of labor, close supervision. Andrew Ure's statement from 1835 reveals the true motive. By increasing the size of his spinning machinery, the manufacturer was able to dispense with unreliable or unruly spinners, workers, thus regaining full control of his factory, a significant advantage. This strategy came at a cost. Larger machines meant higher production costs and extensive spatial reorganization. However, for factory owners, the trade-off was worth it. They gained control over the production process, effectively wresting it away from the workers. Crucially, this shift in the social organization of labor preceded significant technological advancements. The initial move to factories wasn't driven by revolutionary new machines. Let that sink in for a moment. It was driven by the desire to control and discipline the workforce, which, as Thompson and Weber discovered, wasn't particularly keen on making money for someone else. The social reorganization of labor came first, before technological advancement. It created an environment where owners could then implement and control technological innovations to their advantage. This precedence of social organization over technology is evident in how many machines were developed. They were often introduced only after workers had already been concentrated in the factory environment. To achieve this, it was necessary to eliminate workers' ability to grow their own food and also to remove their capacity to manufacture in their own workshops. The factory system itself was born out of organizational needs rather than technological imperatives. The new social structure of labor within factories allowed owners to dictate the pace and methods of work, implement a hierarchical management system, control and direct technological innovations to serve their interests. This control over both social and technological aspects of production was crucial. It ensured that subsequent technological advancements would reinforce, rather than disrupt, the new power dynamics established in the factory system. So when we think of the Industrial Revolution, we must remember it wasn't just about technological progress. It was fundamentally about who controlled the work and the workers. The revolution in the organization of labor laid the groundwork for the technological revolution that followed. This shaped the course of industrial development for generations to come. The legacy of this shift continues to influence our understanding of work, technology, and social organization to this day. It reminds us that the structures of production are more about power and control than efficiency or innovation. Remember this the next time your webcam is on while you work remotely and your boss counts how many characters you type per hour. Until next time.